Okay, let's get right into this. Imagine grabbing the absolute biggest, most iconic names in internet history, locking them all inside one massive cube, and making them battle it out for a prize that will literally change their subscribers' lives forever. Welcome to this breakdown where we are taking a deep dive into one of the most ambitious, crazy events ever pulled off. We're talking about MrBeast gathering 50 legendary creators to fight for a $1 million prize pool. But here's the kicker, and it's a big one. The money isn't even for them. It is entirely for their fans.
So, what actually happens when you put 50 internet heavyweights in a cube with $1 million on the line? Well, you get this wild, unprecedented wave of nostalgia slammed right into incredibly high stakes. I mean, we're talking about scene creators who literally carried the platform on their backs 10, 15 years ago. People like Fred, who you might remember as the very first channel to ever hit 1 million subscribers, standing right next to today's modern titans. It's this fascinating generational clash, a gauntlet that tests friendships, ramps up the paranoia, and just beautifully pays tribute to the history of the internet.
Jimmy, MrBeast himself, literally hits the nail on the head here. He says, if you were to grab my computer when I was 17, it's basically this cube. That right there, that tells you the true heart of this whole event. This is not just another big, flashy game show with an endless budget. It's a historic reunion. It's Jimmy's personal love letter to the absolute pioneers who inspired him to pick up a camera. Because, let's be real, without the people standing in that room, the landscape of online video as we know it today simply wouldn't exist.
All right, but all that warm, fuzzy sentimentality? Yeah, it doesn't last very long, because the brutal games start immediately. The very first challenge forces these creators to make a seemingly impossible choice. Real Lamborghini versus cake Lamborghini. 5 incredibly sleek sports cars are lined up in front of them, but one of them, just one, is completely made out of cake. To survive, a creator simply has to pick a real car and stand on its designated spot. Pick the cake, and you are instantly, no questions asked, eliminated.
You can practically feel the paranoia setting in right away. Everyone is analyzing every single inch of these cars. Somebody points out that car number 2 is looking a little suspicious, maybe, I don't know, a little too delicious? But then, an eagle-eyed creator notices something huge. The windows on car number 4 are dull. They aren't reflecting the studio lights the same way the real cars do. As Corridor Digital steps off a safe spot to get a closer look, boom, his spot gets stolen. And that just sparks this massive chain reaction of absolute betrayal, with heavy hitters like Phil DeFranco frantically swapping places at the very last second.
And guess what? The answer, which caused a total uproar in the room, was number 4. Car number 4 was 100% cake. The dull windows totally gave it away, but for a massive chunk of these legends, the realization just came way too late. In the blink of an eye, literally just for standing in the wrong line, a huge portion of the original 50 creators were instantly sent packing. It set a really vicious tone for the rest of the day. It proved that absolutely no one is safe, no matter how famous you are.
So, for the survivors, the nostalgia trip keeps going with an absolute staple of early internet culture, the water bottle flip challenge. They're broken into teams, and it is sheer chaos as they desperately try to land these flips under the pressure of the ticking clock. The orange team, which has legends like the guys from Epic Rap Battles of History and Vinoss, comes in incredibly clutch to advance. But then, look at the blue team. They totally choke. And just like that, vlogging pioneer Casey Neistat, a guy who inspired millions, is shockingly eliminated from the cube.
Okay, if you thought the bottle flip was a major throwback, you are not ready for this next game. The curtain drops on a room filled with literally hundreds of mannequins. The challenge? The 2013 cultural phenomenon itself, the Harlem Shake, blasts through the speakers, and right when the beat drops, 5 actual humans hidden among all those mannequins will slightly move. The creators have to perfectly identify the numbers on all 5 of those humans to survive. Talk about total sensory overload.
It is so fascinating to watch how their survival tactics evolve in real time here. At first, it's cooperative. They're forming these little mini-teams to sweep the zones in a clockwise direction, trying to cover more ground. But there's a catch. There are only 15 safe spots available. So, that teamwork, it quickly devolves into ruthless espionage. People start spying, literally peering over shoulders to copy answers like number 42, and then full-on sprinting to steal the limited keypad spots right out from under the people who actually did the hard work.
And just like that, the dust settles. After the absolute madness of the Harlem Shake and the cutthroat keypad stealing, we are left with this stark reality. Only 15 creators remain.
From the original 50 down to 15, the cube is starting to feel a lot emptier, and that $1 million prize is finally starting to come into focus.
But hey, there is absolutely no time to catch a breath, because it's time for the floor is lava. This challenge brilliantly takes a fun childhood game and makes it incredibly stressful. The rules are brutal. The remaining 15 creators have to handcuff themselves in groups of 3. They're given only 2 circular pads to hop across a massive floor of simulated lava. They have to constantly pass the pads forward to traverse the room. But here is the massive twist. Because they are chained together, if just one person loses their balance and touches the lava, the entire 3-person team is instantly gone.
Which brings us to genuinely one of the most jaw-dropping moments of the whole shebang. Chad Hurley, yes, the literal co-founder of YouTube, accidentally loses his footing and touches the lava. I mean, it's almost poetic, right? The guy who actually built the platform slips on a red floor, and because of those handcuffs, he takes his entire team down with him. It just goes to show, even the architect of the internet isn't immune to the unforgiving physics of the floor's lava.
Boom! 6. With those eliminations, flash this number in your mind. We are down to just 6 creators. The physical challenges have weeded out the vast majority of the room, and now the whole vibe of the event shifts gears. To get to the finale, these 6 have to survive what is undoubtedly the most intense psychological mind game of the entire tournament. Now, this next challenge was specially selected by the Sidemen, and it introduces us to the Scoville scale. If you don't know, it measures the heat of chili peppers, and the chip used in this challenge is rated at over 2 million units. To put that into perspective, your average jalapeno is around 5,000 units. This chip is basically designed to bring on immense, blinding, awful physical pain, and it completely sets the stage for a game of high-stakes poker.
So here's the absolute psychological torture of this game. Eat the spicy chip versus react to the eater. The creators are paired off. Whoever has the oldest channel gets to make a choice. Do they eat a chip, which could be regular, or it could be that 2 million Scoville chip, and try to bluff? Or do they sit across the table and try to guess what the other person ate based purely on their facial reaction? If you guess wrong, you're out. If you fail your bluff, you're out.
Which sets up this incredible showdown. The ultimate question, spicy or not spicy? We've got Jelly sitting in the hot seat against cute girl hairstyles. Jelly eats the chip. He stares right across the table, completely stone-faced. He doesn't sweat. He doesn't blink. He doesn't even reach for the glass of milk. Cute girl hairstyles is intensely analyzing every single micro-expression on his face. She has to decide, did he just eat a regular chip, or is he currently masking unimaginable pain?
And you guys, Jelly pulls off an absolute masterclass in deception. He actually ate the 2 million Scoville chip. He literally swallowed fire and didn't even flinch. Cute Girl Hairstyles guesses it was a regular chip, and she is eliminated. Jelly secures his spot in the finals, alongside Philip DeFranco, who also amazingly managed to bluff his way through his matchup.
All right, the mind games are over, and the dust has finally settled. We are down to our final 3 surviving legends, Alia, Jelly, and Philip DeFranco. These 3 have outlasted 47 of their peers. They survived the cake cars, they survived the bottle flips, the mannequins, the lava, and the spicy chip. They are now just one single challenge away from securing $1 million for their subscribers.
But wait, right before the final challenge kicks off, Jimmy drops an absolute bombshell. He casually strolls into the Motrin Recharge Lounge, where all the eliminated creators have been hanging out, and tells them, everyone eliminated is coming back. You guys are going to have an opportunity to decide which one ends up winning. The final 3 have no idea yet, but the 47 creators they just outlasted are returning to be the ultimate jury. It's no longer just about survival skills, it's about winning the hearts of their peers. So what exactly is the final challenge they have to judge? A 1-hour Minecraft build. And honestly, this is incredibly poetic. Minecraft is the most popular video game in the world, and it was actually the subject of the very first video ever uploaded to the MrBeast channel. It's this perfect, nostalgic nod to how it all started. The final 3 have exactly 60 minutes to construct a build that will win over the jury.
It is so wild to see how differently they handle the pressure here. Phil goes straight for aesthetics, meticulously crafting this cozy treehouse fortress with rose bushes, clearly thinking about what his son would like. Jelly takes a much more abstract, kind of comedic approach, trying to build a giant bee to represent Jimmy the Bee. Meanwhile, Ali A is just frantically racing the clock, slapping down blocks trying to get everything placed before the hour is up. It's a complete creative scramble.
And while they're frantically placing blocks, let's remember what's actually at stake here. Their fans. What are their plans for the $1 million? Well, Phil wants to split the money, giving $20,000 to 50 different subscribers. Jelly wants to literally recreate this entire tournament inside a video game and let us fans battle it out for $50,000 increments. Ali A wants to use the funds to buy high-end gaming consoles for fans who are less fortunate. Every single one of these plans is completely life-changing.
Now, right in the middle of all this stress, we get a huge reality check on the sheer scale of this whole thing. While the builders are sweating over virtual blocks, YouTube CEO Neil Mohan stops by to present Jimmy with a custom play button for crossing 500 million subscribers. 500 million! It's a staggering milestone that perfectly frames this entire competition. This platform has grown beyond anyone's wildest dreams, built entirely on the backs of the creators sitting right there in that room.
So that brings us to the ultimate question for this deep dive. The hour is up, the builds are complete, the doors swing open, and the 47 eliminated legends flood back into the room to cast their votes. Who will they crown as the ultimate winner? Will they reward Phil's beautiful treehouse, Jelly's ambitious bee, or Alia's frantic hustle? The fate of $1 million rests entirely in their hands. It really makes you wonder, in an era of massive production budgets and endless stunts, did a simple game of Minecraft and the genuine respect of your peers just become the most powerful currency on the internet? Thanks for joining me on this breakdown, and keep questioning the games behind the screens.